Welcome to a new episode of Not Too Deep, the award-winning podcast. I'm your host, Grace Ann Helbig. The first, we have an amazing guest, an incredibly exciting episode. It's Topher Grace. You might know him from That 70s Show. You might know him from various other things that you can IMDb him about that I didn't really ask him about at all, so it doesn't really matter. What he does have that I know about is an incredible new podcast called Minor Adventures, and we talk a lot about just his high school experience, the transition of getting on That 70s Show, and how he slid into the Facebook private messages to find his wife. If he can do it, you can do it too. This is a really fun episode. Enjoy it with Topher Grace on Not Too Deep.
Not too deep.
This episode of Not Too Deep is brought to you by, you probably guessed it already, Squarespace. Turn your great ideas into a reality with Squarespace. They make it easier than ever to launch your passion project. If you're going to showcase work or sell products of any kind, they got beautiful templates and the ability to customize just about anything so you can make a very beautiful and unique website all by yourself. But if you do get stuck, they have 24/7 award-winning customer support that is there to help you out. Head to squarespace.com/Grace for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the offer code GRACE to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Not too deep. Not too deep. With Grace Helbig.
Topher, thank you for being here.
Grace, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I try to start like Larry King, and then it just
I didn't
devolves.
know it was me this official, yeah.
It devolves immediately.
My wife said when I left the house, if you and I got married, you would be
Grace.
Grace.
Grace squared. Yeah.
And what's your middle name?
Anne.
Yeah.
Grace and Grace. That sounds like I have Tourette's, and
We'd
I
be
just
Grace
can't.
and Grace, and you'd be Grace and Grace, right?
Oh, so she's threatened is basically what it sounds like.
Yeah, she said, you tell that bitch.
That her name would sound stupid if you guys...
stupid if you guys ever hooked up, right? Exactly.
Welcome, one, to Not Too Deep, but also welcome to the podcast world. You just launched your
Thank you.
podcast.
Yeah, I'm not going to be as good as you. I'm
No.
really just starting.
This is what we call a clusterfuck here, so you'll be fine.
No, you're actually a real host. They found a format for me where I don't have to host it. I'm kind of like someone's buddy going on this adventure with them.
Okay, explain to me, because I started to listen to the Whitney Cummings episode, which is the first episode that aired.
Yeah.
And the log
Thanks for
line...
doing so much research, by the way. You said you listened to at least 5 minutes of it?
I saw her post it on her Instagram story. But
So you just watched her post. Right?
I was like, I get this. No, the premise of that episode gave me anxiety by osmosis because you strapped her to a lie detector test without her permission beforehand.
Well, I do all this stuff too, so it's not
Right.
like we're just doing it to the guest.
What's the premise of this podcast?
The premise is when it says minor adventures,
Right.
what it means is little in-studio adventures you go on. So that's one, is that we took a lie detector test, but the next week, Paul Scheer and I, we did a kind of telemarketing, kind of competitive telemarketing. We had a guy come in with a robo machine caller, and we called all of LA. And this will come out after that podcast. Right. So we did like beatboxing with Chrissy Metz, and we did dream analysis with Taryn Killam.
Are these all like bucket list things for you, or these are just random minor adventures?
I went on Anna Faris's podcast, and I was like, wow, this is so much fun. It really is something about not being on camera. Well, I think I am technically on camera, right?
No. So you can
great.
do all
Let me take the shirt off then.
Yeah, you can give middle fingers to me this entire time and still seem charming.
I think it would affect the chemistry a little bit. But I went on that show, and she's an old friend of mine. She was so cool, and it was so much fun. And then her producer said, he kind of called me a couple weeks later and said, let's go out to lunch. Mm-hmm. He said, I want to do your podcast. I said, well, I don't want to do a podcast. I'd be a terrible host. He said, no, I have this idea for a format where you don't have, like, already what you've done, I'm terrible at. That kind of like, welcome and, hello. Like, I don't want to be.
Hi. Well, that's the thing. The podcasts, they afford you the opportunity to not have any formality at all, or any sort of like, for lack of a better word, grace and eloquence in anything.
Right. So
that
whatever
you're doing.
you have to do, which is zero, I do even less
Cool.
than that, which is like, I just talk to my friends, and then they bring in an expert. Like Pete Holmes just came in. We brought in the guy who wrote Dothraki for Game of Thrones.
What?
And we created a language.
What?
Like every single, We have one coming up that I can't even tell about because the person might hear what it is, and it is
So you
the
don't.
most insane thing.
So it's a blind. They're going in blind, basically. Your guest to every single episode.
Sounds like you're deciding whether or not you're going to come on right now.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what it
this is
sounds
me. I'm talking myself through the actual, like, if I ever got asked, would I do this? And probably no, because I'm constantly paranoid I'm going to be kidnapped in my life anyway. So
We're not going to do you got kidnapped. Okay? Why would we do that one?
I don't know what you guys' spectrum
It'd be
of
funny. We
like
just
what's
tape
okay.
you to a chair and like yell at you.
Escape now. This is our version of an escape room. And then I'd be like, this is, what I've been picturing my whole life.
No,
And
some
so-
are great. Some people come in, like we did like kind of Reiki, and I was, like I didn't even know what that was. And,
Yeah.
Some people love what we're doing, and some people are nervous. But all of them, the best was Lewis Howes. You know Lewis Howes?
No.
He's like a motivational speaker. He's like a great guy. I want to have like lots of different types of people on. And he came in, and we had him the biggest pop songwriter. She writes for like Beyonce, and we wrote a pop song. And then at the end, I don't know if I should say this because it hasn't aired yet. Matt Nathanson covered it because her manager was there, and he's like, "I'm gonna send this to Matt."
That's
and now
incredible.
it's like a pop song. So it's like
So
every
you
week
actually,
is
you
amazing.
could win a Grammy is what you're saying.
No, she did such a good job at writing it, and we were such like bystanders. It made me feel like Taylor Swift and all these people are like cheating by saying they're co-writing these songs.
Sure.
This woman was amazing, but I signed over all rights like on the spot. I felt so
I deserve
guilty.
nothing from this.
I truly didn't. She really wrote the song, and we had like one thing that rhymes or something.
That's great. Has anything gone bad?
Oh, mostly for me, yeah. Tig Notaro came in and we did auctioneering, like livestock, like 521, 25.
Yeah. That's terrifying.
To actually do it takes like years of practice. And I was like, why? It's just talking fast. But if you really try to count and
No.
I couldn't even do it on that whole hour, that whole episode. I couldn't do it.
Have there been any, I guess, like creative skills that you've pocketed now that are like of interest to you? Nope. Great. So it doesn't involve you as a human in any way, but it's a good time.
It's like you learn something, but the more foreign it is, the better. Because
Obviously, yeah.
been doing the same thing for a while, and it feels like going to.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, that because I do a lot of YouTube stuff forever, and so to do a podcast in the beginning was like a real. It was weird, but it was like a very fun, different thing to creatively do, because
Now it's something you have to do.
now it's become the thing that makes me and my dog money and allows us to live and eat. So I still love it very organically and creative, and I do it for me, not for the paycheck. But it's a weird, different muscle to flex.
Yeah, for me, especially because of the, sometimes I know very little about what the adventures, beatboxing. Oh my God. Nina Dobrev came in and we did spinning, like learning from a DJ. And I was so bad. So bad that but it's entertaining either way, really.
So
it's actually
this is-
maybe better if you're bad.
So basically the premise is like it's why Topher became an actor. These are all the job outlets that he could not succeed in. So
we got a infinity number of episodes because
if you want to, as an audience, think I'm more capable than I am, I'm going to prove you
there was
wrong.
one job for me and I'm okay at it. Yeah.
But that sounds really fun. So you guys get to keep doing it until someone says stop.
I don't know what the bar is. You could tell me. It's kind of like
No idea.
I love it, and we had a kid a year and a half ago, and like once a week I get to leave my house now and do something like that's the time you want to do it.
Yeah.
It's actually the time you want to go to a liberal arts school.
Yeah.
It's like right when you have a kid and you like cannot go.
Yeah.
You want to go learn things and do new things and try new things. So I'm
If you ever want to
loving
get
it.
out of your house, have a child, and that will really amplify that
Oh
desire.
yeah, I'm on with my agents. Like, is there anything on location, like in New Zealand or anything? Yeah.
The thing I admire the most about the podcast is the marketing campaign. You have created a series of billboards and
I know.
just
That,
like bus ads.
That
It's
picture, right?
It's
that
you as Fabio, right?
literal picture.
How did
Basically, I just had to get in the gym for a couple months, and I let it immediately go once
you
we
just did
took
that
the picture.
300
Yeah.
diet or whatever.
That photo shoot was bananas, and I just kind of. My wife said, "Now, take it, slim down a little bit."
You want to be relatable again.
It's funny because I showed my wife, and she's like, "I don't think that's funny." And then because I think she has to find me attractive, but then everyone else we showed the picture to, like cracks up. You know,
Yeah,
like, oh my
it's
God, you
great.
could never. Like that was what a
I got mad.
idiotic idea.
When I got mad at it because I wish I had thought of that as a marketing tool for anything I've done creatively. Because it is Fabio is a literal unicorn of a human.
Well, we were thinking like adventures and like we were thinking different. Like, am I going through the jungle with a machete? Or but we wanted people to know the same thing. We had to record a theme song, and it's weird. I never realized until doing a podcast, you only have one opportunity to show visually what it is, and one opportunity to kind of musically show what it is.
Yeah.
And so we spent a lot of time. It was really, another fun kind of hobby thing to do is going, how do we do like a cool theme song that still says this isn't, exactly Mission Impossible.
Sure.
And same thing with the posters. Like, how do we say adventure, but it's like kind of funny? And so.
Have you had any of your friends, family, or just miscellaneous people see these billboards, see these wrapped vans and buses and situations and not understand?
Nope.
Nope.
Everyone knows it's a joke. Yeah.
It's a solid marketing campaign.
Nobody has said to me, wait, is that real?
Is this a movie you're doing? What is this?
Like, what is this? Can I swear on this?
Yeah, you can swear as much as possible.
What is this? Shitty movie that has cast you as like an Arnold Schwarzenegger type.
Did you have to get Fabio's like permission for something like that?
No, I'll tell you what we did do though. This was awesome. I kind of had the idea with a group of people who work on, the people who are doing the podcast are like, this Sim Sarna is Anna Faris's producer.
Oh, cool.
And he's on my show too, and he's unbelievable. So we kind of had this idea, and then he was like, we'll find an artist who'll do something like a Harlequin romance novel cover. And then we went, wait, why don't we find the guy who does it? Like, no one's going to be as good as these covers we're looking at. And this guy lives in New Jersey.
It's my home state, yeah.
And we called him up. And he's like, yeah, I'll have it to you tomorrow. It was so fast. He's so good.
This is the guy that designs it.
This is the guy. So I don't think he uses Fabio because Fabio's from like the 90s, really, in terms of those covers. But he had, I'm going to go like really behind the scenes here.
Please do.
That's not actually my body.
Well, fuck. Now
it's actually like another model, if you can believe it, with the chest.
The fantasy is goddamn ruined.
I know. So this is just a little special for your viewers, so they know it's
they
not
get the
actually,
insight, the intel,
or my hair. But he had a library of like tons of bodies, and I just got to go through and say like that one.
Wait, you had to choose which body?
Yeah, it was great.
What was your criterion for that?
Just realistic, something that really looks like me. No.
Have you met this man in person that designed this?
No, we spoke over the phone. I hope, because he did a great job.
Yeah, it looks great.
It was, it's the only thing that's off is that it's me. Like, truly, like that's the best spoof is when it's only 1% off.
Sure,
And like, so it's really kind of a great picture. We might do a different one for season 2 or something.
Also, you guys have to come out with now a fake romance novel as like ancillary kind of content for this thing. I would love that. No, it's fantastic. And yeah, it seems really fun and a great concept to just like try a bunch of shit with a bunch of people that don't know that they're about to try a bunch of shit.
I don't know. I've been hearing nice things, but truly before it came out, which at this point was like 2 weeks ago, I knew I was having a blast. That's great. The only way when I'm doing a movie too that I know. People tell you a movie's gonna be successful or not or whatever, but if you know you're having a great time doing it, usually that's a good
You check in with yourself and just sort of monitor it like for real. Yeah. Okay, so you just had, one I'm curious about, because I go into everyone's social media before they come as a guest on the podcast, just see if they use it, if they don't use it. I'm always curious when like more, quote, traditional actors, actresses participate in social media.
Wait, what does that mean?
Because I'm from the YouTube space. So
got it.
like there's, and I feel like podcasts toe the line. They're like the thing, like the bridge that kind of ties everything together.
That's where we're meeting, right here.
We're meeting here, exactly like this.
The fact that anyone would call me traditional is like bananas, but...
alternative traditional in a way.
You meant boring, right?
But I meant you had some gatekeepers that got you to that said you were allowed to do the thing that you really enjoyed doing genuinely.
Whoa, that's true. That is a good definition of it. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
But you do social media. You do participate. Like, do you have a favorite platform?
Instagram.
Yeah, I was gonna guess that would be the one
fun.
that it's you hashtag.
Not really. I'm not good at any of that,
but you hashtag in like a purpose. It seems like a purposely bad way.
Well, it's not.
Or maybe you're trying. Maybe you're trying, and I misread.
It's not on purpose. I have like dad Instagram skills, but here's what I know is about 4 years ago, someone took me aside and was like, you're right, one of those handlers was like, you're not stagnant by doing nothing. Like you're actually going backwards. Like it's not just that you're nothing. You're actually not. So I made a deal with myself to like, I think it's true. You know, I think because some people have such a hold of it, even traditional actors.
Sure,
yeah. So I couldn't do any of that, when you're holding the phone and you're like, hey guys, so I just arrived at Burger King and now I'm going in. I just don't give a shit. But like I made a promise myself to post, it sounds so laborious, but I made a promise to post twice a week.
That's great.
And like, it's tough. You're with your kid and you're like taking a selfie. It feels wrong, but
I was going to ask like, what are now that you're a new dad and you're also participating in the social media world, what do you have, I guess like limitations on?
Yeah, well, no pictures of family.
Yeah.
The only time I put pictures of me and my wife is when we're like on a red carpet
because
we kind of know we're going to do that. And that just comes from a place of keeping it personal. But I also think I said this to Sim when he was trying to convince me to do a podcast. I was like, I am legitimately boring. Like if someone had that's why you're saying traditional is because I can't do the other thing. Like
No, you can do the thing that I am not good at. So don't worry. Everyone has their own skill sets.
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean,
so
maybe, but like, my wife and I joke, like if we had a reality show, it would be us watching reality show. Like there's no.
Are you a reality show fan?
My wife is, and she's turned me into one.
Okay, what do you guys watch?
I mean, I meant that to say they were so boring.
Sure, but now I'm distracted because I'm a reality show
Alrighty,
fanatic.
well, my wife is dirty when it comes to reality shows. I'm talking like all of them.
Okay.
Like she's really into
the new
one of these, like we just got married, but we didn't know each other shows.
Oh, Married at First Sight?
Married at First Sight.
I literally just watched the reunion special last night with my boyfriend. So
I watched the reunion special last night too.
Okay, Luke.
What's going on with that dude?
Luke makes me mad. He makes me mad. I haven't crossed the line to deep dive into his gram yet.
We did.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, tell me what's up.
I mean, what can you say on this?
Everything.
I feel bad, but he's already put his life out there.
He's put his life out there.
Okay, the dude's gay, right? I mean, come on, he's extremely gay.
But if he's not, he's
girl was attractive.
If he's not, he's homophobic.
Yeah, you're right. It's
because he makes a joke on Facebook. I haven't checked out the facts of everything.
No, but you said, okay, wait, back it up.
Okay.
What he said was, and for anyone who's listening, I'm trying to get good at this for having a podcast. The context of this is they got married. This show makes you get married.
So basically, there's a panel of experts that people sign up for this opportunity to potentially be chosen to be paired with someone that these experts deem like their perfect match.
And these experts are terrible at hooking people up.
One's name is Dr. Pepper.
What is it, Janice Peppers? Something like that. Dr. Janet Peppers.
They knew that because they called her Dr. Pepper for like the first 2 seasons, and then they added her other name on because they knew. I assume they realized that social media is like having a fucking field day with it. But and then they have it's a social experiment where they have 6 weeks to.
So you meet at the altar, and this guy from the get-go was like, I'm not attracted to her, which is, let's be real. Like everyone gets divorced at the end of the show, except for like 2 or 3 couples. Like you don't have to say, it's like going on a date with someone and they arrive saying like, I'm not attracted to you.
Physically not my type. He ran a speed dating event.
Physically not my type because she doesn't have a dick. Like, well, I mean, there's no problem with any of it. It's just like, why are you, he made her feel like shit. By the way, he'd have, just to cut to the end, he'd have sex with her and then go sit by himself in the living room alone for a while. And then tell her, I feel dead inside? What a dick. He
literally said verbatim, I feel dead inside, which is like the most insane thing to say out loud.
I've only had like, honestly, 2 or 3 tops girls say that to me.
I've never said that to my therapist yet, let alone like someone I've been blindly.
How would you even admit that to? And I don't have any problem with him being gay, except that he's married to this woman and not telling her that he is gay.
Yeah, and he agreed to this social experiment that's on camera, and so it's one of those things that he's voluntarily participating in. What's
going on with that hairline? What's the thing he's doing where he's trimming? It's not that he's balding; he's trimming back his hair.
Yeah, he's got these baby hairs on his forehead that when I didn't notice that for the first few episodes, and then when I did, I couldn't unsee it. Like it's all I'm looking at when he's talking.
But he's beyond me. This isn't as mean as he actually is on the show.
Yeah,
and he's crazy too. He says different things.
He's also clearly placating for cameras. Like you can tell that they probably have they clearly have a different language that they talk to each other offline.
He's abusive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the more correct word for it. But then he participates. Like they have some agreement in which they are like cool, quote unquote, on camera with each other. And it's just so transparent. And I love that's the only part of the reunion I love very much is that the host like kind of went in on him a little bit.
He was great. He used to be on Entertainment Tonight or something. That guy won the whole show to me last night.
I hated him up until that interview because I thought he was being too like quote hosty.
When he goes, dude, I'm on TV for a living. Yeah. I'm telling you, you look like shit right now. So I'm giving you an opportunity. And the guy's like, I'm not going to say anything.
He's like, you got that dead stare. And I was like, oh, go in on him, please.
The host wanted to divorce him just during the interview. Like, the guy is the most divorceable human. Anyway, we did a deep dive on social media. It's got pictures of him on like Fleet Week, like, running around. And he's like, I don't know why he would agree to do the show.
That's the most confusing thing. I feel like.
Can I tell you just my theory? There's nothing to do.
Please, give us your theory.
His parents think he's straight, and he's trying to prove in like an outer way that he's straight.
Oh, that's really
why
interesting.
Would you be gay or bi or anything and go on a show and lock yourself down to a woman who you don't even like.
Right. And then hope that this woman
she's
agrees.
Attractive. That's the worst part. He kept saying
she's so sweet. And I felt like
kept saying, I'm not attracted to you. You're not attractive.
I mean, even on their honeymoon, I was like, oh no, can you let her quit the experiment right now? Like, do you guys have a plan B for her?
Yeah, just bring another dude. Yeah,
please
exactly.
let her just meet someone else because she deserves love.
Yeah,
and I don't think he does necessarily right now, but she does for sure. Also, I have a theory too that he had like his speed dating business he thought would get like exposure on a reality show like this and might help him out like in his career. Who knows? Luke sucks a dick. Anyway, on that note, we're going to take a quick break and when we get back
sorry Luke,
we're going to ask some more questions here on Not Too Deep. We'll be right back.
Not too deep.
Guess who's sponsoring today's episode of Not Too Deep? If you guessed Squarespace, you're a genius. If you didn't guess it, you're still appreciated for being here and listening to this ad read, but you're not as smart as the others. But that doesn't mean you still can't turn your great ideas into a reality with Squarespace. They make it easier than ever to launch your passion project, whether you're showcasing your work or selling products of any kind. They have beautiful templates and the ability to customize just about anything, so you can easily make a beautiful website all by yourself. And if you do get stuck, Squarespace's 24/7 award-winning customer support is there to help. Head to squarespace.com/grace for a free trial. And when you are ready to launch, use the offer code GRACE to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Not too deep.
This episode of Not Too Deep is brought to you by Lisa. They believe that a bed is more than just a place to sleep. It's a place for relaxation and rest, and they believe that every body has the right to rest. That's why they make 2 awesome mattresses plus accessories and bases to give your body the deep rest it needs. The all-foam Lisa mattress is new and improved, featuring, get this, cooling LSA 200 foam for enhanced pressure relief for side sleepers. That I don't know what it is, but it sounds like it's going to help you if you're a side sleeper. And their Sapira Hybrid mattress is the perfect combination of foam and spring for pressure relief and edge-to-edge support. And their mission is to provide a better night's sleep for everybody. And from day one, they've set out to create a company with heart. That's why they donate 1 mattress for every 10 they sell to organizations that work in causes like foster care prevention. And to date, they've donated more than 32,000 mattresses through more than 1,000 nonprofits. So not only are you getting yourself a better sleeping situation, you are indirectly donating to a wonderful cause. Like I said, 32,000 mattresses through over more than 1,000 nonprofits have already been donated, and you can be part of that and get 15% off your entire order at lisa.com/grace if you use the promo code GRACE. That's Lisa, LEESA.com/grace, promo code GRACE. Okay, we're back. Would you ever go on a reality show? Would you and your wife ever do like Amazing Race?
No.
No. Hard and fast, no.
Big time. Now, my wife, I think before we met, made a tape for The Amazing Race. So we're in different places about this.
Really?
I think she made half of one and decided not to do it. Or, but I, once again, just too boring.
Would you ever, what show would you champion your wife being on?
What's that show on? It's on Fox. It's My Husband's Penis is Too Large.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I
also
feel like,
hosted by Chris Harrison.
Also hosted by Chris Harrison, right? Who would know? It's like I feel like that one maybe.
I watch
It's
them all
okay.
from afar. I'm a big Real Housewives franchise.
We're not in that zone. That's like,
Oh, that's when you hit rock bottom. So you guys are still safe. You guys are still hanging out
you know
in
what we
good
love
territory.
is that Marcus Lemonis show too, which is a
What's
different
that?
kind of reality show. It's where he goes and helps small businesses.
Oh, that sounds nice and rewarding.
It's called The Profit, and we like are having like, look, we're two actors, so
Yeah.
like to sit there and have discussions about businesses. We basically went down the Shark Tank rabbit hole,
yep.
and it leads to The Profit, which is the name of that. It's spelled profit, like profit,
Sure.
and that show's great too.
It's inspiring. Are you guys going to start a small business?
Yeah, so we're gonna franchise our acting
Well,
to other actors. It's gonna be other Topher Graces.
Okay, we're recognized in a murder trial.
Wow, yes, that's true.
Yeah, not to pivot too hard.
You really did your
but-
research.
No, this is the most insane thing to me. Can we talk about this? Is this like
Sure.
public knowledge?
Yeah, no, I've talked about it. Basically, I've been for jury duty a couple times, not even gotten picked.
Okay.
And at
I've
this
never
point-
been into jury duty.
Why?
Because I still keep my address in New Jersey. So
You're
I'm
a
out of
genius.
state.
Like,
I just also am lazy. I haven't changed my address.
This was the point. I think I'd worked at a bunch of movies in a row, so I was enjoying having downtime. I kind of thought, I was reading a script about being a lawyer, and I was like, you know what? I think I want to get on a trial. And I got picked, and you're in this room where, they're kind of whittling down 65
Sure.
people into a 12-person jury. And I thought, and they said, there's a murder trial. And I thought, this is going to be great. Like, this is an experience that I should have and see how lawyers really talk. And then they bring in the guy, and they say, this is, innocent until proven guilty. That's our system. This guy
Right.
walks in, he's guilty.
You can tell right away.
I could just fucking tell.
Yeah.
Like, it's everything short of having an eye patch. He was like, totally did it. I didn't even know what the crime was, but this guy is guilty of it.
It's like this guy's murdered, maybe not someone in this trial, but someone.
Oh yeah, someone. He should go to jail for murder for sure. And he kind of sits there, and they say, everyone, they made us rise and take an oath or something. And they said, do you promise to, you're all going to be honest or whatever? And as we sat down, it was part of the promise was, do you know this person? And no one in the courtroom happened to know him, but I'm sure there's times where that happens.
Sure.
And then as I sat down, he kind of looked over and kind of just pointed at me and kind of lipped like, big fan. And I was like, oh God, oh my God, like, oh my God. And then I didn't know how to get out of it because
that's
and I can
nuts.
imagine this guy coming back in the courtroom, and I'm like when the person's saying we all find him guilty, me kind of being like, I wasn't like fully.
It wasn't
like,
me.
Kind of like a bunch of them, they teamed up on you, and I had to go with them, but sorry.
That's insane.
Yeah. So I just went up to the judge, and this was the most embarrassing part.
Yeah,
is I was like,
at that point you have to be like, I can't be part of this.
but
right
to
now.
say to someone, which I don't think, I'm not one of those like I went to clubs or something, like, do you know who I am type of thing. But to this judge, I was like, hey, I'm slightly in the public eye, and he was like, from what? And I was like, that 70s show maybe, and he was like, no, I'm not familiar. And I was like, oh, come on, man, like Ashton Kutcher. Have you heard of Ashton Kutcher? Like I was trying to like. And then finally we hit on something that he'd seen. He's like, oh yeah, I've seen you. Like I didn't like that project, but you don't have to.
You did it the right way. I've tried to get into a bar in Boston or Chicago rather with my brothers because my wallet had gotten stolen the night before, and I had organized like this brother trip with everyone for the first time. And the security guard at the front was like, "No," and the bar's totally empty, and it's this dive bar. It's a piece of shit place. We just wanted to go do like karaoke and drink beer. And then my brother's like, well, just tell him like, that you do internet stuff. And I was like,
That never goes
okay.
well.
And then I went up and I was like, I can show you like my Wikipedia page. He was like, no. And I was like, you're good call, sir.
Good call. I would
call.
do the same thing if I was you.
I'm the piece of shit now for even trying this.
I've had this. Tell me if you ever had this where someone, this is more when people had like those click cameras, like before the phone, where they'd kind of come up, you're in like Vegas or something, and they're like, would you mind? And I'm like, sure. And I start posing with them, and they're like, no, would you mind taking the picture?
Yeah,
I'm like, sorry. Like,
it's the worst. You feel awful.
The worst one ever is I had a guy at a gas station. This is like 2 or 3 years into 70 show go like, hey man, no offense, but you look like the kid from that 70 show. And I was like, wait, what? Like, what? I was like, none taken, sir. You know?
Yeah, anything that starts with no offense, let alone him trying to comfort you on not being
but
that
not
person.
that much like him. Don't worry. Like, not that much.
No, I've had the situations that make me feel like the worst human ever is when someone comes up and they're like, I like your YouTube videos, and you're talking and you don't really know how to end the conversation, so you're just kind of like, do you want to take a picture or anything? And
like, no, I'm good.
I've had people say no. I've had people say no, and I'm like, you're right. You're right. I'm glad that we got to.
That's
just
nice you said that, because sometimes
that.
people want it and they don't know how to say it.
No, that's the reason that I started asking, and then I stopped asking after that experience happened. So it's really fun. Also, you went to boarding school.
Whoa, yeah, this is a deep dive. Yeah.
No, I just looked at your Wikipedia for 30 seconds.
Yeah, I did. From a young age, from like 13.
Wow. Did you have a roommate at boarding school?
I had several roommates. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
For years. Yeah.
What's I don't know anything about boarding school.
Boarding school, the thing I have to tell you is, if you know anything about it, is everyone thinks it's like Dead Poets Society or School Ties.
Sure, they romanticize this thing.
That would be the bad version. This is like boys and girls. And, I was such a loser in high school. I was really talking to girls earlier than I would have. And if you want to go away, I wasn't a huge fan of my hometown. So if you want to go away, then it's a great experience. You get to come home a big chunk of the year and spend it with your family. And then when you're there, it's like, you're living next to your best friends. It was like a mini college.
I mean, it's like it's a different type of camp, I would imagine.
Yeah, the best is when there's no work. Like when you have a snow day at boarding school, there's nothing better. It's like all your best friends are hanging out and watching movies and like, so I would say, I only really look back on it fondly, but I was the one who chose to go. The kids who were always getting kicked out for doing whippets or like whatever, those kids they were forced to go.
Would you want your daughter to go to boarding school?
No, unless she really wanted to go.
Sure. Would you want her to enter the entertainment industry?
No, period.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm always curious about that because I imagine that it's one way or the other. But
look, if she was crazy passionate about it and, she could do it when she was 18, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's not the entertainment stuff. What we're doing right now is the fun stuff, as you know. It's all this other stuff. It's really, when I think about the people who I started with when I was 19, I'm not talking about the people on 70 Show, like the whole like incoming class of 1998. Like some of those people are dead. Some of them are like selling waterbeds in Wisconsin or whatever. It's like some of them are still here trying, and it's sad. Like, some of them done very well, but it's
a
just
roller
really
coaster. It's the most unstable career you could ever embark on, and that'll fuck with your brain in so many different ways.
Well, the trick is to do kind of what you did, which is to get on. Not that this is what I'm trying to do with the podcast, but it has helped for me in a way. This way is to be slightly entrepreneurial about it and create some opportunities for yourself. So
you feel like you have control over your career.
That's right. You're not waiting for someone to give you permission to do your thing.
That
right?
you get to just actually do something that is interesting and that resonates when people listen to it and watch it or whatever, that they're like, oh, that person's doing something that they authentically enjoy. And that
bleeds out too. Yeah, you can tell when someone loves what they're doing. Yeah.
Do you have favorite people that you follow online?
Yeah, I love following The Rock. I know this is not an original answer.
I saw that you follow The Rock, and I too, yeah.
He's like inspirational and funny, and like I love that we kind of have a similar build on those billboards. So.
Yeah. He's the body double for the billboard.
He was actually, his first acting job was on that 70 Show.
Was it really?
Yeah, a little fun fact. Yeah, so I remember meeting him and being like, this guy's got it. Like he was so charismatic and so good.
That's amazing. And
it was his first thing. And he was kind of like, was that good? And I was like, yeah, man, you're like for what I assume was just like a wrestler guy. I was like, you're fantastic.
No, you're I'm literally I just got back from WrestleMania this weekend. I'm a big wrestling head and really had fingers crossed that he would show up this weekend.
Yeah, he does.
A surprise.
What, like once every 5 years he kind of drops by?
He'll bop in. The one time I did see him out here at like Monday Night Raw or something, he came out and surprised the audience, but he was also shooting a scene for a movie that he needed the audience for. So it's like, we're being exploited, but I love this. You're great. That's so fun. He's also one of those people that I, too, when I started following him on Instagram and social media, that I was like, he's doing it right. Like he is so genuine and authentic and like really seems like he cares. And every caption for every Instagram is a novel and I'll read all of it.
It's interesting hearing about it from you, who's someone who's had success in that way. I guess that's the only thing that really matters. Like if you had to lead is authenticity, right?
Authenticity. It's the word that we all kind of hate to say, but it is truly the correct word.
Are you listening? What's the guy's name?
Who?
The guy who was gay, who was lying about it?
Oh, Luke.
Are you listening, Luke? It's about authenticity.
Your inauthenticity was transparent.
But that's what that host was trying to tell him. Like, you just be authentic, man. Like, people won't care.
Yeah, I don't know what that guy's going to do. I'm curious. But I also have, not to continue, this now is a podcast about Married at First Sight, the after show. I feel like, maybe they won't do this, but part of me really wants them to bring Kate back for the next season.
Come on.
And try again.
Give her a hunk guy who just like is so terrific and like, yes.
Give her a round 2. Let's see what happens. Okay, so obviously The Rock is fantastic. How old do you feel mentally?
Oh, great question.
Because I constantly fluctuate between like 13 and like 65.
No, I would say I just turned 40.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at 30 as being a real sea change in my life. Like I think a lot of people, they get out of their 20s and they go like, you're clearly still in your 20s, but you know what I'm talking, when you
I'm 33.
trust me. Okay. But when you get out of your 20s, you'll realize like you're like on like nature gives you crack or like fairy dust or something for that amount of time. You're just riding on like not knowing how dangerous it is or how the whole thing. So to me, that was a big change, but I love being 40 in terms of what I've learned.
Yeah.
So
was it like a monumental like age? Like, did you have that kind of like thinking about it as a number situation?
Here's my real problem.
Yeah.
I was always kind of 40.
So now you're finally, your body's caught up to your brain.
No, I don't mean I was so smart I was 40.
No,
I mean like I'm like lame like a 40-year-old. Like,
sure, yeah.
So in my 20s, I could tell, one thing that's really frustrating is I could tell women were like, someday, like not right now. Right now I'm going to fuck this guy who's really bad news. But someday you're like going to be like a good dad type, dude. And I was really frustrating when I was younger. And now I go,
it's like the weirdest way to friend zone someone.
Oh no, I've had that where I could tell they were like, when I'm falling down the tree, I'm going to grab on at the last thing. But I mean, my wife isn't that way. She really chose me. And then feeling comfortable in that kind of thing, I go like, oh yeah, I don't know. I feel like a very healthy 40, but I don't know if I liked being 35 and dating and I mean, I kind of thought I liked it, but
the hindsight's 2020. How did you and your wife meet each other?
We met at a charity event, which sounds really good.
That sounds like you're good people. I get it. Good job.
Yeah. So, I saw her, I'm involved with this charity and she was involved with it. And I saw her at this is what I mean. It sounds like 40-year-olds talking, right?
Sure, yeah.
What 33-year-olds has?
Of course, these two people met at a charity. Yeah.
We were both reading the same novel. And I saw her at the planning event for this. It's a great charity called Art of Elysium. And so this is like, they have this big gala and this is the kind of the planning, like the host committee dinner. And I didn't even talk to her, but I knew the head of the charity and I was like, can you please sit me next to her at this gala?
Oh my God, that's very sweet.
And it was great. I mean, she had a boyfriend at the time. So it's like, that's how we kind of met. And then later she was single. And
oh, that's very sweet. So you planted a seed at this charity
event.
event.
Actually, I just recently had a friend tell me about Facebook. This is not that long ago.
Oh,
so
really?
So
you have been 40.
I was late to the thing. Yeah. I didn't have email until like 7 years ago. Like I've been I don't really need to connect with a lot of people from my past. That's happened for me. Yeah. And then people like come out.
They'll connect for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was, what happened? I was just like really single for a long period of time. When your friends start to get worried kind of.
Yeah.
They said, hey, Facebook is kind of like the phone book. Like you're just not in it. You know what I mean? Like, and so thank God I did it because I didn't get her number or anything and then looked her up on Facebook, which is very...
You connected on Facebook?
Yeah, I just said, hey, her mom went with her to this thing. So I really spent a lot of time sucking up to the mom.
Yeah. You were really planting seeds. Oh, dang.
And then I reached out to her on Facebook, and it was such a curt. I mean, I still have it because it's on Facebook. But it's like, hey, it was so great hanging out with you and your mom. Something lame. And she was like, thanks.
And that was it.
And this woman's had my children now, but it's like, at the time she was like, that's enough. Like, back off.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. What year was this?
Oh, why are you doing this to me? Hang on. It was 2014.
2014?
13?
That's very sweet.
Yeah.
That's incredibly sweet. So I hope Mark Zuckerberg gave a speech at your wedding for you guys.
He did. Yeah, he gifted us 1% of
yeah, he gave you unlimited pokes. I don't know. I haven't used Facebook for fucking ever. I have no idea how that platform works.
Right when you don't need it, when you get married.
Oh, no, I know. My parents got on Facebook and then I was like, delete. Okay, I'm done. I'm done here. Okay, what would your high school senior quote be if you had to make one now?
Why are we doing all me? We should be doing you. What's going on with you lately?
No, this is how podcasts work. Welcome to hosting a podcast. You make it about your guests, and then sometimes you insert your own personal
insert your
stories.
own thing, right? What was the question? I'm sorry.
What would your high school quote be now? Do boarding schools have like superlatives and that sort of thing? Like,
yes,
most likely to. Did you get any of those?
I didn't.
Okay. Well, no follow-up questions there.
So I was kind of like a loser in high school. My thing was very weird in relation to getting that 70s show. I had never acted before. So I did a high school play.
Yeah, I think I read this okay.
So I had a very, in terms of what that yearbook quote would be, it's a very like hard left turn, which is no one was talking to me. I was fine. I was like kind of shy.
Yeah.
And then I went to college at USC here. So I was in LA and the girl who did the sets, her parents were big producers, and they said, hey, would you like to come try out for something? It was so bad. I said, okay, what do I have to bring? It was like I was at college and I was going to take the bus. I didn't have a car.
Yeah.
USC, it's a far ride from a bus ride.
Yeah.
And they said, just bring a picture and a resume. And I said, what do you mean? They said, we need to know when you leave your resume who you were. Like, we'll tell them who you are, but you need to bring a picture. So I brought this picture of, I mean, I didn't know it was supposed to be like an 8x10 of me posing.
You didn't like a headshot, yeah.
It was me and my friends at Six Flags. Like out in the parking lot. Like, we did, like Six Flags. It's the only picture I could find of myself. And then the resume was like Dunkin' Donuts and Suncoast Video.
Amazing.
So then I got it. I mean, they made me audition for it a lot. Because they were like, are we really going to give this to our daughter's friend from...
Right.
I think the thing was, though, all the kids were too cool. In the waiting room.
That they were like,
they all had product in their hair and they looked really like cool kids. He lives and breathes
this part. So
they're like, we need a actual nerd.
and they got it. A photo of him and his friends at Six Flags and the fact that he's poured iced coffees on the East Coast.
I mean, night shift, by the way. Night shift, TNT.
Oh, shit.
But
wow.
So then when I got it, I was so supremely weirded out for the next 3 years. Because I was, could you imagine if people, like I couldn't get laid at USC. And then
now
like,
all of a sudden,
I remember like there'd be like a publicist on the project who's like, would you like to have dinner? I was like, what? Like, whoa, I skipped so many steps. So
that's so nuts.
So at first my quote a couple years in would have been like, fuck all of you. Because I was so like bummed. And then I've made peace with, it was just such a sharp turn to go from being unpopular to popular.
And there's absolutely no rule book in which you follow or anyone that you can relate to even ask, like, how do I emotionally, physically, mentally handle this? To this day,
I don't know anyone who's gone that, like, hasn't auditioned and then has a thing that's ongoing. I've seen people have an audition and then they get one role in a thing.
Sure.
But then they're back to being a normal human. But, like, this was like, also it was going into work. Like I got a car for the first, everything was so new.
When you had to get wheels to get you there?
I'll tell you one high school related thing. I don't know if this is a quote, is when I was doing the Spider-Man movie in New York, there was a girl who had rejected me so hard. It wasn't like I said like, oh no, I have friends. I can't go out that night or something. Like I came up to her and she said, please, like get the fuck away from me. Like, so I was like, okay. So I saw her in a club, like a bar kind of club in New York. And I was like, let's say her name was Diane. It's not.
Sure.
I was like, Diane. And no one has gone from having as little confidence as I had when I last saw her. And then like 7-8 years later, I was like, Diane, how are you?
What's going on,
And she said, oh my gosh, like I can't, but like I couldn't believe it when I first turned on TV and saw you. And I said, oh yeah, I got to tell you, I always had such a crush on you back then. It was like I was hitting her with just like, not just confidence, but like it was so different than the last time she saw me probably. And she said, oh my God, I had such a crush on you.
What?
And I was like, what? You did? Like, what a crazy game of cat and mouse we played. That when I came to ask you out, you told me to get away from you. Like, now I understand. That was just you flirting with me. You jerk. Like.
Oh, wow. Where is she now? Facebooker.
She's dead, actually. No,
oh, God bless Diane. Classic Diane.
Why did I choose Diane? That's clearly no one I went to school with was named
Well, I
Diane.
also would respect if you're pretending that that's a fake name and that's actually her real name.
Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be really fun. No one knows. Okay, we'll take one last break and we get back. We have a bunch of Twitter questions for you.
Ooh.
People have things they want to know. We'll be right back with more Not Too Deep.
Not too deep.
This episode of Not Too Deep is brought to you by the OkCupid dating app. OkCupid is the only dating app that finds you someone based on who you are and what you're into. The OkCupid dating app asks you fun and meaningful questions that matter to you so you can be seen by the people who are going to be into you. They got questions like, would you pay an extra $5 for guac? Are you close to your family? Real lighthearted stuff like that. Did you vote in the last election? It's you'll see tons of answers that lead to great conversations and great dates with people who feel the same way that you do. Tell people about your favorite album, your last great trip, your favorite podcast, and then let the love roll in on the OkCupid dating app. Whether you're looking for that person to join you on a long walk on the beach or a very short walk to the hotel mini bar, they're waiting for you on the OkCupid dating app. Be yourself and enjoy all the awesome people who want to meet you. Download the free OkCupid dating app and find your next great date today.
Not too deep.
Support for today's show comes from a Coketopia. After a long day, we all know that we like to enjoy some me time. I mean, I might be projecting onto you, but I know for myself, when I'm around people all day and hustling and bustling and busy, I want to come home and be by myself and do my version of self-care. And what a better way to do that than with delicious dark chocolate truffles from Coketopia. Guys, they're fantastic. You can indulge in delicious chocolate without the sacrifice on calories because the dark chocolate truffle is only 40 calories. You heard me. 40, a number we hate to associate with age, but love to associate with calories according to chocolates. It's 45% fewer calories than Lindt, and it has less fat and less sugar too. It's the perfect treat after a meal, during a girls' weekend gathering, or if we just want to pair it with a glass of wine. It's up to you. The possibilities are endless. And you can try it for yourself by going to coketopia.com and entering promo code GRACE at checkout to get 50% off your first order. Make sure you type the code in all caps. That's going to coketopia.com, coketopia.com, and enter promo code GRACE, GRACE, in all caps at checkout for 50% off your first order. Indulge without the guilt. Okay, we're going to get into these Twitter questions. Before we do, I'm going to ask you the two questions I ask every single guest that's on the podcast. And the first was, who, alive or dead, would you most want to throw cold spaghetti at?
Bring it in. Bring it in the fucking room. I'll do it right now. It's you, Grace.
Me?
Is the answer.
Oh, I'm
Especially for
honored.
answering that question. Where's the spaghetti?
No. This is all hypothetical.
Can we get spaghetti? Anyone in the booth?
No, I don't
do you
have
any?
I don't have health
We
insurance.
have access to any?
No,
You won't let me do it?
No.
After asking that question, I can't throw spaghetti?
No, I'm going to let the listeners imagine what that would look like in their brains.
Has no one ever chosen you?
They might have. Okay, the other question is to tell us your worst pants shitting story or close call, but you can only use 3 words or small phrases. So mine is college, jogging, front lawn.
Well, I haven't. I literally haven't. I don't drink, though, so I think that's a big part of it.
Oh, God, I mean, God bless and God bless.
Can I tell the best story I've ever heard about it?
Yes.
It's not going to be 3 words.
I would rather hear the story.
This is the greatest story anyone ever told me.
Okay, so,
It's not mine. I repeat, it is not mine.
Yeah, just full disclosure, not his story.
Okay, this guy, I'm going to try to shorten this.
Okay.
He was also a loser in high school. Again, not me. This is not me. Okay? His name was Topher.
Okay.
So he went to college and like accidentally got a date with the hottest girl there. Like he was at orientation. He didn't know they were in the same group. And he said, hey, let's go to this museum in Connecticut or something. They were in New York.
Okay.
And then that whole week he started to realize, oh my God, I asked out the hottest girl at this college. And so he starts getting like stomach issues about it. And then they take the subway there. To Grand Central.
To take the train.
And he's like, I have to fart so bad. And she's talking to him and it's all he's thinking about. And then she's like, oh, she saw her friend Robin or something in the next car. So he's like, oh, thank God. And he just shits himself. And he goes, oh, crap. And then they're pulling into Grand Central Station. And she's like, he's not saying anything about it. You know, it's kind of drying in his pants. And she says, does it smell like shit in here? And he's like, yeah, it does. I don't know what's up with this station. So they get out and he sees like a Gap or something. You know, there are those stores in Grand Central. Yeah. And he has this brilliant idea, which is he goes into the Gap and he says, oh, I've been like eyeing a sweater there. And she was like, what? And he goes and buys the sweater and he grabs some jeans that look like his jeans. He brings it up to the counter and he says, do me a favor. Like, I don't want to buy the sweater because he's up there alone without her. Yeah. Just put the pants in one of those big bags so you can fold it over. Like, I don't want the sweater. I just want the pants. And so she rolls him up into the bag. He takes the bag. He says, let's go. And they get on the train to go out to Connecticut. And they're in one of those compartments or one of those, cars that has a little bathroom thing in it. So he says, oh, I have to use the bathroom. So he takes it in there and he takes off his pants and there's shit just running all down his pants. And he just he doesn't know what to do because if she comes in afterwards, whatever. So he rolls him up and throws him out there's that little window. You can't commit suicide from it, but a little space. He rolls them through. They fly out onto the track. Then he takes off his underpants, which are just decimated, throws them out the window. Then he opens the bag, sweater.
No! What?
There's only a sweater in the bag.
Oh my God. What did he fashion himself some pants out of this?
This is what he told me, is that, you know how you put it around your waist? Yeah. He did that, but put it forward.
Yeah.
And then ran off the train when it came to the next stop. Didn't know if she saw him or not. And then he switched schools.
Oh my God. I don't want to do any fact checking of any part of this.
Okay, it was me. No, I'm just kidding.
That is insane. And also, like, truly our animal instincts are fight or flight. And he started with fight and unfortunately chose flight.
He couldn't find a way to like kill himself with the objects in the bathroom. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so nuts. Also, like that Gap employee having to be like, what? You want me to do what?
They're like, all right, we'll put the sweater in here.
Okay, let's get into these Twitter questions. Someone wants to know, what type of animal would you most want to speak English?
Oh, dog, golden retriever.
Do you have one?
No, we had one growing up, and that was my dream in life, was to hear. It would have been like, hey, what's going on?
I think that can still happen for you.
Well, we'll see. I'll hopefully be alive for a couple of years.
Science is pretty amazing right now, so we'll see what happens. Also, were you a Lassie fan?
No, I hate that bitch.
Okay, well, she knows what she did.
You know what you did, covering up with all those good deeds.
Yeah, you think karma's coming back around for that shit? No way. Someone wants to know, who was your childhood crush? Oh, like celebrity crush, I guess. Because mine was Billy Elliot when I was in high school.
The character?
The ballet dancer.
Wait, but he's an actor. What's his name?
Yeah, I couldn't tell the difference when I was in middle school, high school.
Right.
I just thought he was very good he was very passionate and artistic and life. He was very life.
Was it ballet?
Ballet. Yeah.
Well, Alicia Silverstone for me was like.
Really?
And I auditioned for something very early on with her, and I was like, if she knew how creepy this was.
She knew.
She would not be here. Right? She knew on some level. Yeah.
If she knew what's in my thoughts right now. Someone said, no, if you could choose a decade to set a new sitcom in, what decade would you choose?
Man, I think there's something to the 20 years thing.
Yeah.
Which is to say, now the 90s are ripe.
Because
I'm more say that because of Happy Days. I think Happy Days was 50s for 70s, right?
Right.
We were 70s for 90s,
yeah.
And I think the 90s are ripe. But in 10 years, the 2000s will be ripe.
Well, didn't last year was the 20th anniversary of that 70s show?
Yes, but it was set 2 years. It will have been the amount of time in about 2 years that was from when we started.
Gotcha. I think a 90s, that 70s show.
Well, you feel that way because you grew up then, but the kids who are watching now for the first time on Netflix, they're going to have that level of nostalgia about the 2000s, right? It's always
True.
like whenever you kind of were having.
True. Okay, someone wants to know, does he have a favorite episode of Catfish? Are you a Catfish fan?
I'm not. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I watched the movie though. Love the
No,
movie.
I always assume when people ask these questions that these are like sometimes personally specific to things that you actually enjoy. I haven't seen the movie, but I do watch the TV show. If you were a crayon, what would your color name be?
Topher.
It could be
That
any
could be a color, right?
Yeah, and it could be
It's not weirder than orange, Topher.
or cerulean. Like
It's weirder.
Cerulean.
I'd rather my name be cerulean.
Yeah, how did that get in there? Someone wants to know, what's the weirdest / wildest party experience he's had?
Not much of a partier, but
you and your wife go occasionally. Do you guys like have a safe word of like, we had to get the fuck out of here?
we just say to each other like, we gotta.
We need to leave now.
Yeah, and then after having a kid, it's like game over. I'm trying to think, weirdest party. When I first moved to New York, I had hosted Saturday Night Live right before that, and I had an apartment, and Seth Meyers and I are buddies, and I said, hey, come on over. It's my first night in New York. Let's celebrate. And he brought like half the cast of SNL.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a karaoke machine. It was like one of those nights where you just go, I can't believe
New York is a magical
this
place.
is happening. Yeah, New York is really a magical place. Yeah.
Yeah, it literally is a city that never sleeps.
They were all doing their impressions when they were singing. I mean, it was like too much.
They're
it was
doing
so
bits.
great.
They can't turn it off.
It's a little bit like, that. But also like I was enjoying it as an
But
audience
also,
member.
yeah, it's like an unbelievable
But
moment.
they were my friends. You know what I mean? They're just doing their own thing. Yeah.
Just looking around. How is
Using
this
my
happening?
apartment. Yeah.
Someone wants to know, what's been your favorite role and which one do you think has changed your life for the better?
Well, a couple answers.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite role of all time would be playing Eric Foreman. That was like such an amazing experience doing 70 Show. Like,
Sure, yeah.
especially because I was new and we were all new
Yeah.
for the most part. And like everything that was happening in our lives was happening on the show. It was, when I look back, it's like, what's that? Boy's Life? No, what's the movie that Richard Linklater did? It's
Boyhood?
Boyhood. That's
Okay.
what it feels like watching it, because I'm like, I think that exact thing was happening in my life that week, and they were doing a show about it, and I love those kids. And
Yeah.
but I also love this movie I did with Paul Weitz called In Good Company. Not a lot of people saw it, but I love that film.
Cool.
And also my wife had only seen Win a Date with Tad Hamilton when we met.
Oh,
She's
really?
younger than me. And so I owe that movie more than I thought when I made it. Because she's younger and she thought it was like legitimately a good film. And
Oh, you didn't know.
she didn't watch 70 Show, but she had a little crush on you from that movie.
Oh,
so,
that's very
yeah.
sweet. That's incredibly sweet. What do you look for now when you audition or take on a part? Like, are there certain parts that you specifically look for, or is it more just sort of getting the feeling or the people that you're working with?
It just has to be a Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. That's my
Shit.
only
That's now
qualifier.
your
Yeah.
typecast. Yeah.
No, it's so funny because it moves in different places being
Ebbs
an
and
actor.
flows, yeah.
But like now it's like I'm getting all these like Nazi offers. And I'm like, all right, let's kind of cool it with
Let's chill out on this for a
with that
second.
stuff. But
We swung the pendulum really far, so let's let it swing back a little bit.
the answer is I really have to love the director. If they've directed once or
Yeah.
a bunch of times.
Do you direct as well?
No, not at all. I wouldn't
No.
be good at it. But
You
but I
your
want to know the
limitations.
person. What's that?
You know your limitations.
Oh, I've learned. Yeah. No, that's a part of being 40.
There you go.
You'll see.
The self-awareness sets in.
Now
but-
you go like, let me help. I really want to be a great helper to these great directors.
Oh, that's nice. That's a great way to frame that.
Yeah.
That's very nice. A lot of people are asking, do you still talk to your castmates from that 70s show?
Oh yeah. Wilmer just did. He's literally.
He's on the podcast,
When
right?
does this air?
This airs May, at the end of May.
He was on last month, is what I meant to say.
Oh, man.
Not that he's on next week.
That was a great episode.
It was, yeah.
Wait, what did you guys do for that episode?
That was very special because
Uh-huh.
Wilmer and I were very, very close. And one thing we do when like pop music was on is we'd start acting out trailers together. We were young. I mean, he was
Yeah.
like 17 and I was 19.
Yeah.
And so like when the song starts to like arc up, we'd be
Uh-huh.
like, this summer, We'd start, you know what I mean? Like how they always
Like
use the
movie
best part of it.
trailer?
Yeah. So we had in the biggest movie trailer announcer in the world come in. The guy who says like, in a world.
Wait, the legit, like,
The legit guy came into the studio and Wilmer and I learned how to read trailers from this guy.
what?
And by the way, when I listened back to it, I was like, we are terrible. Like this guy is the guy who's like, Aquaman, rated R, and we're
Oh
like,
my God.
but listening to
What's-
Wilmer do it was amazing.
I didn't even know that could be taught how to do that.
Well, you can get a little bit better. I don't think we have Wilmer has a pretty thick accent.
Sure,
so
yeah,
it's like,
that's fair. So the guy did the best working with you guys with what he could.
but he taught us some stuff and
Also, I didn't know that there was one guy. that
this
was
guy
the
is, when you
guy.
hear it, like, you go, oh yeah, you almost don't pay attention to him because he's so in our lives all the time.
Right? Yeah, I guess that makes sense that you're so used to hearing that type of voice.
It's like God or something is talking to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Very religious.
Well, I'm atheist, but yes.
As close to a godlike experience as you can get. Someone wants to know, what's a major adventure that you would want to go on? Has there been,
Instead of a minor adventure.
Yeah. Has there been anything on the docket for minor adventures that like you're excited to potentially maybe do in the future?
I love the constraint of it that
Because it's all in studio, right?
yeah, but we're starting to have ideas like, wait, but what if we went to
Mm-hmm.
XYZ? So maybe in future seasons we'll start to,
Adventure
Go
out of the
crazy.
studio.
yeah, because it'd be cool to take like a hot air balloon ride and record it, or
Oh, that'd be fun.
go to like space camp or whatever.
Oh, see, I have no ambition for that with this podcast. I want to be in one confined.
No, right now having a young kid, it's like not my jam. But,
Yeah.
but maybe.
Maybe you just do an episode where you learn, you just audition babysitters. All pairs.
My wife and I have
You learn
this
how to
weird
all
idea
pair?
that like, I guess this is like a sketch or something, but like we have the babysitter arrive
Uh-huh.
and then she's like, thank you so much. And I just come out of the room and I'm like, hey, you gonna make me some food or like, what's up? And she's like, wait, is it for this guy? Like,
That's what I call my manager.
right, exactly.
Okay, we've reached the end of the podcast, Topher. Thank you so much for being here. But before you go, everyone, you've kind of clocked this earlier,
Ooh.
gets a personalized fortune cookie for being.
Now this looks like it's been tampered with a little
It
bit.
has been touched for sure.
Oh, so you put a fake fortune?
I mean, we don't like to reveal our witchcraft here, but
Okay, sorry. Let's see what this says. It was a very, very long fortune.
Yep, it's a script I want you to read. Actually,
Okay. That murderer in trial didn't recognize you from that 70s show. He thought you were a friend from middle school, but was too embarrassed on your behalf to let you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if he was, he's one of these guys who made fun of me. And so my yearbook quote of "fuck you all"
Still applies.
holds up. Yeah, exactly.
Sweet. Where can people listen to your podcast? Where can people follow you online if they don't know?
I am not very good at that part.
I'm
going
gonna
to
let you know
Yeah,
that-
you tell me.
Minor Adventures with Topher Grace, official full name.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
For
or
now.
Minor Adventures.
Minor
Look,
Adventures.
if you can't figure out where we don't want you.
If
If you
you're
can't
listening
figure
to
out
this
where to
podcast
find
right
it,
now, you can find his podcast everywhere you listen to podcasts. You can
just go to
follow
podcast thing. You
Go
know,
to podcast.com/podcast and listen.
Right, okay, you know, Grace, you got it.
And then where can people follow you on social media? If you
under
want them
Topher
to.
Grace, yeah.
At Topher Grace across the board?
I'm honestly so bad. This
I
is like
got
really
you.
calling me out. It's basically a Topher Grace.
At Topher Grace. Look how humble he is about his own social media presence.
I'm not that good at this part. But,
No, it's great. Thank you so much for being here. This
no,
is super
thank you.
fun.
This was really, really fun.
And congrats on the podcast again. I can't
Thank
wait
you.
to.
You're coming on, right?
It
It feels like you are.
There's a potential yes there, but we'll see.
I think we'll tell you what the adventure is ahead of time, so you don't freak out.
There you go.
Yeah.
The adventure is saying yes to the podcast. Okay, thank you guys for listening. We will see you on another episode of Not Too Deep. Goodbye.
Too deep, too deep, too deep, not too deep with Grace Helbig.
Not Too Deep is a production of Grace Helbig Incorporated, producer and edited by Melissa D. Montz, writing by Diane Kang, production assistance by Katrina Henning, post-production sound by Chris Henry, and an extra special thanks to Flula for the theme music.